Grab your cup. This conversation about unconditional love, I think, can apply to so many people. I know in my life, most of my life, I had no idea what unconditional love was. I knew how to be loving as long as certain conditions were met. As long as you did what I expected you to do, as long as your behaviors and choices matched what I wanted, then I could be loving. And as soon as those things changed, my love was taken away. That was how I learned to be. That was how I experienced love when I was little. That's what I thought love was. And unconditional love is really very different than that. But I think a lot of people, most people, are used to being in relationships the way I just described, the way that I was. I know so many people, I've had so many clients who choose their life partner because things line up with what they expect. This person will be a good provider. This person will fit in with my family. This person likes to make me laugh. But as soon as those boxes are not being checked, there's a really big problem, and the whole dynamic changes. When we have unconditional love, there's no boxes that are checked and there's no expectations. We love whether our expectations are being met or not, and that's a really tough thing. What prompted me to share this with you is a one-on-one call I had with a client this week. My name is Linda Downey, and what I do is I work with primarily women to overcome stress and anxiety, toxic patterns in their life and in their relationships so that they can have better health, experience more vitality and connection with themselves and others, and joy. So that's who I am and what I do. And in this one-on-one call, my client was really upset and talking about her adult son who has had a history of making poor choices that have big consequences since his teens. And what she was sharing with me was, I can't continue to bail him out. I can't continue to keep supporting him. You know, he's an adult. He's almost 30 years old. And he keeps screwing up. And I can't keep opening my heart to him. And that's what triggered this conversation for me to have with you. And well, actually the next piece too, because then she said, so I feel like everything that I've learned and I've done went out the window. I lost it again. I woke up this morning feeling guilty, feeling ashamed. I was right back in my old patterns with him and then with my husband, complaining, and all of the upset was right back. And I feel like all the progress that I've made went out the window. So that's the other piece of it. Her comment of, and she said it more than once, I can't open my heart to him if he's going to keep doing this. And I woke up feeling ashamed and guilty that I lost it. Because what you can see there is her own conditional self-acceptance, right? As soon as she felt like she didn't manage herself the way she's been working on, that she didn't remember some of the tools and that she got so upset, she started to blame and feel guilty and feel ashamed of herself. And when we are conditional like that with ourselves, we only know how to be conditional with other people. So her conditions of, as soon as I didn't behave the way I wanted to, the way I've been working on, I'm now a loser. I now deserve to be berated. I now feel guilty. I am so upset with myself. And that's the same thing that was now happening with her son. Most of us grow up with the experience of receiving love very conditionally. And even if we heard things like, what's wrong with you? Get out of my sight. I've taught you better than that. Why do you keep doing this? If we heard that a lot, or we just saw that love was withheld, her comment of, I can't keep opening my heart, a heart that we care about, a heart from a parent or from another person gets closed down, the moment we make a mistake, make a bad choice, that's very conditional. And then we learn to love ourselves very conditionally. Now, unconditional love and enabling are two different things. So I want to make that very clear. I'm not suggesting that loving someone unconditionally means you keep bailing them out. It doesn't mean you keep paying for them. It doesn't mean you try to stop those consequences that their choices might have or experience the consequences with them. It doesn't mean any of that. That's a separate conversation around what standards do you hold for yourself and actually what's healthy in dealing with other people. But if you cannot accept yourself, and if you beat yourself up, and if you feel guilt and shame every time you make a mistake or you go off the path that you were working on, listen, we're human beings. We're not meant to have it all handled. This life, the whole purpose of this life is to figure it out and to keep getting the lessons and to keep growing and expanding. That's the whole purpose. If we got it right every moment since we were young, we wouldn't be experiencing life. We would just be going through, a process of emotions, not emotions, motions. We'd be going through a process of motions that have no impact on us. Our whole goal is to expand and to connect back with ourselves, to learn how to do that, and to get the lessons that life is, and to recognize our imperfection. When we have an expectation of perfection, and listen, I do understand that when somebody keeps making the poor choices, that's very far from perfection. Like, I'm not asking for perfection, just try to change it up a bit, right? But it's that berating and the lack of being able to open your heart to yourself that then translates into relationships that are built on, as long as my boxes are checked, you're a good provider, you do what I expect, you have sex with me, you make me laugh, whatever it is, as long as those boxes are checked, we're good. I'll behave lovingly to you. I'll open my heart to you. But as soon as you're going through something or you're choosing something that doesn't check my boxes, I'm going to let you know how displeased I am. I'm going to take my love away. My love is conditional on what you do and how it meets my expectations. If you were raised like that, then that's how you know how to be. And that's how you are with yourself. That's the bottom line of this conversation. So relearning what love itself is, separate from enabling, and that's also part of the problem, is that we think the definition of love is I enable you or I take care of it for you. And that's not the definition of love either. It might be yours right now in the moment, but love is really accepting how people are and loving them for who they are and the mistakes that they make, even when they're making them, not necessarily going down the rabbit hole with them. If you see that in your life anywhere, particularly with yourself, because it takes a lot of unraveling, if that's how you learn to love yourself, if that's the environment that you saw love expressed in, if that's how you received it, it takes some unraveling. Go ahead and put talk in the comments so that we can connect. I'll send you my calendar link about the work that we do, because experiencing unconditional love for yourself and then for other people is a game changer. Have a good day.